So Dark Ice is where we're starting things off. Both UK teams going head to head. How is the action going to go down? Who's going to be able to pick up this first point? We're following Mr. RJ Green and Proper D on the side of the leftovers as they'll slow things down just a little bit here and wait to see if they're going to be pushed. Now, this is an interesting one, right? Because all the way around the side, we've got the map itself that you can go around, pick up all your armor and stuff. Then we've got a massive open area in the middle with a few little nooks and crannies you can hide in between. So how passive could this one get on who's going to be able to strike first?
Yeah, big corridor wrapping around the outside that we talked about before. And then you have this very large open space in the middle. You can see as well the outside corridor is kind of like a 2 or 3 tiered system.
Yeah.
So with the result of that, it looks like both teams are just kind of hiding right now. Neither team really wants to take that initial fight, although it seems the leftovers are a bit more keen on it now as they push themselves, specifically Property trying to hold in the open.
Oh!
He's got this plasma rifle to play off of, connects the shot on the Chrysler. Not on the head though, so it's not going to do the damage necessary to take him out, and he'll be able to heal fully.
But that's a lot of information. The scans are going to be so prevalent in a map like this just because of the multi-layered side of things. And you've got 2 stories to fight from. It always comes down to how quickly can you strike and react to what's been going on around you as Proper D gets another scan off. He'll understand where they're going to come from, takes a shot out, can't make this one connect, but does get the second one. D-Ra walks straight into it. He's looking for more. Chrysler under pressure now. He's got one more shot left in it, and he does land it. Proper D, he's hitting all the shots, and now he needs Mr. RJ Green to come in and back him up, and he's stocking up on armor.
Really slow kickoff here. I think that's the furthest into an in-game timer we've ever gone without a frag happening, but there you go. In about 3.5 minutes, the leftovers strike first, get themselves off to a good start. You can see D-Ra tries to jump in at the end to go for one of his famous 1v2s, but it does not happen this time. He's wiped out clean, and now unfortunately, while Chrysler, yes, he's gotten a boatload of health to play off of, he's still alone here trying to pull off a 1v2. That could prove dangerous. Chrysler is going to get cornered here by Proper D. He goes down, and where's my waifu? This is a messy start for them, unfortunately. When they are losing players, it's always separated, so they can't even get the 2 players together here, let alone actually try to get some kills.
Now look there, you saw D-Ra taking a few shots. I think Chrysler thought he was being chased down there as he dived past his teammate, but leftovers go back to a little bit more of a passive stance. They've got a good lead here. They've got a lot of armor to work with, but they don't want to allow Where's My Waifu to pick up too much here. You want to take full control. And you can see the armor that's in front of him, but is he going to be able to have a chance to go for it, or is that just something they're going to be baited into?
Well, either way, the leftovers are probably a lot more keen to continue to play passively now, but they seem to have the right to engage. We're going to end up in a long-range fight. Proper D is cornered. He tries to fall back into the side corridor. Looks like he is going to make it away for now. Gets the heal off as well, so he's safe. Now it's an attempt to bait in the Where's My Waifu players, but I don't know if they've taken the bait or not. They are moving towards it here, and yes, it works. Mr. RJ Green finds the first frag and the second frag on the Ricocheters with, of course, support coming in from Proper D in the back.
That's the way Proper D likes to get it done. Him and Mr. RJ Green making them think that, oh, look, we've got to back away, Waifu, come towards us. And then they fall into the trap, and then they begin to strike 5-0 now. We'll give them a solid start here, but it can still quickly turn around. But Waifu, they need to find their footing in this, and they need to find it fast. Slingshot's going to be picked up. Could this be something that can change around for him? Shot comes out, a lot of damage off to RJ Green, but he'll back away straight into this and doesn't want to continue to fight it as Proper D is doing so much damage. Headshots landed. He's looking for more. D-Ra's under pressure, but he does able to reply. But instantly, guess who's around the corner? Mr. RJ Green. He delivers the damage, he delivers the kills, and now we're up 7-1.
So, one-sided for one of these teams so far, but not the team I expected. Where's My Waifu actually falling by the wayside pretty heavily here, and the leftovers taking this lead all under their control. They're kind of hybrid play almost between passive and aggression that we're seeing. Property a little bit too aggro, but somehow makes it out of live there. Doesn't actually get focused down. Chrysler's going to be able to re-engage at a different point. The problem is he's lost a teammate. It's only a 1-for-1 trade, which with only a minute left isn't really going to mean much here. RJ Green doesn't look like he's too keen on taking the final battle versus Chrysler with the Cosmic Ripper out in the open. So he's going to fall back and wait for his teammate to respawn instead.
Yeah, no need for him to engage in that one. He'll just back away. 50 seconds on the clock, but they've got a 6-point lead now, which is huge to work with here. As Chrysler, he did his best, but his best wasn't good enough this time around.
See Chrysler continuing to float down. He's actually going to get a really great initiation coming off the slingshot there. Absolutely destroys RJ Green's health. Had a chance to finish him and missed it on the second shot, but the third shot strikes true. Gets the job done, and they even take down Proper D as well. A great turnaround from Where's My Waifu, but still only 20 seconds left here, and they still need to try and find the final 4 kills to tie this and take it to OT.
That was absolutely huge coming out there from Proper D as well. Until he just went in and actually got picked apart. And then we saw Where's My Waifu just say, oh, okay, look, now we can take control. And so much damage was going to be done. But with such a lead now, you may have been able to get those extra 2 points. But leftovers, they're not looking to play into your hands anymore.
Well, they're not. Time's going to run out here, and that means the leftovers are going to be able to start with the final map, or the first map, I should say, going into their favor. And only 2 more stand between them and qualification into the VRL finals in just a few weeks' time.
The way that we saw the leftovers there use the corridors was just to perfection, right? They were baiting in Waifu so many times. It was like, here we are, come at us, and even when they're landing a shot, you just saw him back away, wait for it to come to them, and then they had another player sat in there ready to just get the refrags on it, and at times they weren't even losing the player, even though he was being battered down so low. Yeah,
they were able to delay oftentimes so often. I mean, let's look at the very start, right? We went like a good 3 minutes into the game before we even saw our first kill happening. So really good job at delaying it as far as they did, and it wasn't like they were the ones who benefited from the passive play either, because if you recall, they were the ones who eventually pushed out and like the fight. And that ended up working out into their favor too. So it's not like a case of one team just kind of hiding in a corner and another team gets impatient and pushes them. They successfully were able to push their opponents outside of cover on that side corridor, take the lead for themselves, and then just kind of slowly took fights after that point forward. It only took fights when it was smart for them to do so, and that's the way we've been seeing a lot of teams kind of play things here. So led really well into their play style, and they were able to close out the first map.
Now, what I'm interested in seeing in the second map is just the fact that obviously we actually got to see Where's My Waifu come alive a little bit more at the end, right? They certainly started to pick things up a bit, so maybe they just needed a bit of time to get back into it and deal with how the leftovers will play. Maybe now they can fight back into it. That's what's going to be key when we do get into the next match. But I think it's also to see if you don't want to allow them to get too confident, because if you see that leftovers start to walk away with it and get a second map on the board, pressure's massively on Waifu at this point, and they're sat there and they don't want to crumble. Stick to your guns, stick to what you're playing best at.
All right, well, let's find out about that, guys, here in just a second. I think we got the players selecting the map. There we go. It's over to Factory, too, for our second matchup, so it's going to be a pretty big change-up in play style. Obviously, we're going to have a lot more closed-off areas for these players to work with, so expect just a lot of in-your-face Ricochet-style play, probably some good biopump usage, too, if either of these guys are keen on using that. But here we go, into the second map of the series, with the leftovers having the starting advantage.
And what will the leftovers be able to do here? They capitalize on their first win on map 1. Can they take this through to the second game here? Factory is a very different style of map, completely polar opposite to what we've just seen on the first. But already you see leftovers getting a few good scans off. You can see communication is going to be frantic here from Waifu, because they're looking for that initial engagement and who's going to take it first of all, up close and personal.
Once again, both teams not too keen on pushing in and wanting to necessarily take the fight, although Proper D split off slightly, but thankfully RJ Green's able to find an angle to work with his teammate to isolate out Chrysler, taking him down, and that's the leftovers once again starting out with an advantage. Though they're not able to leverage the second kill so easily, so it's a very small advantage to start off here.
Yeah, just that first frag as D-Ra will escape. He's being chased down, and at least with him being chased down, he might be able to make this work with his teammate coming to back him up. He's picked up a couple of points of gold armor, but is it going to be enough to help him out here? D-Ra takes a lot of damage, as does Chrysler the moment he pops out. Damage being done here massively by leftovers. Mr. RJ Green will pick up the next kill. He's going straight in for the second. Jobs are good, and 3-0. And Where's My Waifu on the back foot to start things off with? A lot quicker, though, a lot more fast-paced, and that's just how it goes down on Factory.
Good pacing in taking that fight, too. We saw it. The initial engagement actually didn't go that great for them, but they held back, kind of baited Where's My Waifu into the fight, and then really focused it from that point forward. So great turnaround from the leftovers on a bit of a shaky fight at the start there. Now they're going to try to do this again. They've already caught the Where's My Waifu players trying to push them, getting a little bit of damage off specifically on a Chrysler, but he's already healed through that. And now it's D-Ra on the front lines at this point trying to push forward, slowly chipping away damage against the members of the leftovers, but not anywhere near enough. They just spin it around once again on a conjoined 2-man push and pick up 2 more kills quite easily.
Pre-fire is huge here for the leftovers. Great control being had there from Proper D as he is working his way around. Mr. RJ Green will come in to finish off one of the players there at the end.
Mr. RJ Green still working his way around here to try to catch Chrysler or anyone else attempting to push their way forward here too. Proper D, he's going to find himself spotted out first. In the meanwhile, RG Green goes for the flank. Proper D, in the meantime, picked up yet another kill here for the leftovers by knocking out Chrysler. And in the meanwhile, D-Ra again has to go into hiding here. Can't really sustain in a fight, so he's just going to try to keep himself alive here until his teammate's back out on the field.
Leftovers are not missing a trick. As soon as they move, they're under fire. Once again, Mr. RJ Green picks up another frag. We're up at 7-0 now on Waifu. They do not seem to have an answer. Christ is going to back away. That's the best thing you can hope for. They need to engage in this as a 2-man. They don't seem to have the confidence in his ability to be able to turn this around if one man does go down, because they're not doing enough damage off the initial engagements.
Now again, still looking for ways to build on this. Kind of just hunting for any type of engagement they might be able to get. The leftovers as well are given free reign of so much of the map here. They're able to play into that to a large degree. You can see RJ is going to push his way in. They do great damage on the Chrysler. Not enough in order to get the kill, though, as the bait finally works. So where's my waifu? I think the leftovers are okay in taking the risk on that one, though. Proper D still out onto the field here. He's going to be looking to try to take out D-Rob, but no, Chrysler gets the better of him once again. So that's a clean fight. Finally won here by Where's My Waifu at 8-2.
6 frags is what Waifu need to find in 1 minute 30. But they have got a bit of control here, and they will be able to pick up some of the armors that are needed. But Mr. RJ Green, he came straight back into. He was the first player to go down, which means he'll be able to pick up more of what he wants here. He can take the initial push and pressure into these fights once he does spot out one of the Waifu players. Proper D is going to find D-Ra. No damage connected just yet. Just a back and forth. And they're going to push each other around. Proper D has to be careful here, but he's going to go down instantly. And Chrysler's there, ready to back him up, just in case that Mr. RJ Green wants to get into it. But damage being done, and RJ Green is not slowing down. And look how much armor he has to work with. He'll be happily wanting to get involved in this fight against Chrysler. And he's done a lot of damage already. Can he get to finish him off here and get on that 10th point? He's on the hunt for him, looking for exactly where he may be. But Proper D's the one to pick it up. They're back together. And he may be lower on health, but they're able to just continue to put the pressure on. There's nothing that Waifu can do.
Too much of an advantage here now for the leftovers. Again, at 11-3 and 40 seconds left. It's just not really possible for Waifu to get that many kills that quickly, so it's a pretty safe bet now for leftovers to take a 2-0 advantage. Remember, again, though, it's a best of 5 here in the qualifying matches, so they won't close out the series just yet, but they'll be very, very close to doing so, especially with the way that they've won these first 2 maps.
Can they do it before the time, though? Can they get themselves 3 more frags? Very unlikely, but they're going to still try for it. Mr. RJ Green spots out one of them. No engagements happening just yet, and it looks like it will just tick away. We're not going to see too much more out of this game. The leftovers, though, starting off 2-0 and starting off very strong. Even when Waifu do look like they have a chance to fight back into a game, they've not been able to get things together for enough time to make it really have some impact.
Yep, and so there you go, folks. The leftovers take control of map number 2, now holding a 2-0 lead in the series, and unfortunately not leaving a whole lot of hope left for Waifu to recover on maps 3, 4, and 5 here.
There is one more map that is all leftovers need to get, and they will be going off to Leicester as the second team coming in from the European region. It's been a crazy ride for the leftovers. They went down earlier on more than what we expected in it. Obviously, they did go up against Gravity, who have a very, very significant, powerful playstyle that a lot of teams seem to struggle with. But Waifu there, just even when they got kills going, it wasn't enough overall. It was a bit kind of troublesome for them.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a crazy result if we end up seeing the leftovers like fully recover as well from coming in the lower bracket. You know, they've had to battle their way through pretty much the entirety of the lower bracket. So if they come back and manage to qualify after having to go through that crazy of a run and that many matches, that'll be very impressive to see them come out on top of that one. So either way, it'll be props to them making it this far. And they're still on the line for 3rd place at minimum if they should drop this. But with the way things have been going, they're in a great position to close out. It take a lot of mistakes for them on this 3rd map compared to how well they've been doing for them to drop this and allow for their opponents to even get 1 map on the board, let alone 3, and fully recover from the series.
And I think that's one thing I want to see here from Waifu now is to say that, okay, you know what does work, but it's like play a little bit smarter together, because we see it. They won't kind of go on the chase downs now. They're playing a little bit more happier on when to disengage, but they're just getting at times falling into traps. They run around, they see one player, they're not just chasing him down, they're going as a unit together, but then both players are ready around the corner and saying, cool, hi again, time to get the job done.
And they're aware of this too, is the thing. Like they've done it to a few of the members from leftovers a couple times in this series too. But it's just they're never able to capitalize on it as much. They're never really able to get the opportunity to set it up because they're always under so much pressure from the leftovers. The game starts out slow so far for the first 2 maps. They have that opportunity to try and set up traps. They have that opportunity to, more importantly, think about how the fight is going to happen, because you know for the most part leftovers are probably going to push you too.
Yep.
Out of the 2 maps we've played so far, it's always been the leftovers that have pushed and started the initial fight. Focus on winning that initial fight, because if you can do that and get the 2-0 lead, now you've got that like 10 to 20 second buffer period where you're going to wait for your opponents to come back on. That's when you really establish dominance on the map, and you're able to really lock them out and put them into the same position that you've been in for these previous 2 maps. So far, they haven't been able to do that yet, though, and as a result, we've been seeing the leftovers take control of that initial fight and then follow it through, dominating on most of the fights afterwards.
Now, obviously, it'll be a massively uphill battle if you want to see Waifu try and take away of this, right? They'd need to win 3 in a row now, the fact they're 2-0 down, but it is not impossible. They just need to turn things around and learn how to counter what the leftovers are doing against them. And I think one way I think they should try it off, maybe they should have tried it in the previous game, but it's just getting their face early on. Try and catch them by surprise. Don't allow them to have that passive early start.
Yeah, it'll be very much the case, and we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. We do apologize for this little bit of a delay, guys. It's looking like, again, we're just sorting out some little tricks with the server real quick, and then we should be good to jump into that third map and see these guys clash once again, and if we'll get that 3-0 result for another qualifying match, or if there's going to be a little bit more fight still for Waifu to put up. They've already been able to do it a little bit against Gravity here, just weren't able to take them down on a single map either. It would be very upsetting to go 0-3 on 2 separate series in a row for Waifu. Not the result that they would want coming this late into the tournament. So let's hope they can get at least one map onto the board for themselves.
You'd really be sat there thinking, I'm so close, nearly there. Leicester's looking like it's ours, and then
so much for that, guys.
Oh, sometimes it's just the way it goes. But Gravity's sat back at the moment in grand final spot saying, who's next?
Bring him on.
Waiting for another 3-0.
Axis has got his railgun ready to go.
He's just been sat in server for ages going, tap. Oh, yep, tap. Oh,
he's just floating around. Oh, there's one.
Yep.
There's 2, 3. He's just in free-for-alls right now, just getting target.
I reckon he's even just practicing with one hand. He's like, you know what, just make it easy for them. Like,
he's gonna figure out how to do trick shots, like behind the hand and stuff like that.
He's just sat in his room, like styling on him, like.
See, this is what's cool about VR is you can do that kind of stuff too, right?
True Western style. He's like, ha ha, da 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 da.
Like ultimately, if this were Quake or something like that, you'd be limited to what the game lets you do. But this one is like, no, you can style as much as you want. You've got people dabbing and stuff like that. They were, unfortunately, they're actually dabbing behind the headset. So.
They were dabbing on like what was 8-0 or something, and he was just like, "Yeah, we won already. Let's go."
One team was playing patty cake last week. Whenever they won a game.
Really?
Yeah.
Getting close.
They would go like, yeah.
You can have a lot of fun with this. A lot of our players have fun across the board. And hey, you should celebrate winning. And we get true celebrations. This is moving into a whole different realm, as it be.
Yeah, and we do want to remind you guys as well that while Season 3 has pretty much come to a close here, this is an open league, ultimately, in its spirit. And Season 4 is going to be starting at some point later on this year. So be sure, most importantly, to tune in for our finals, which is going to be going on in a few weeks' time between June 7th and the 9th, where I'm pretty sure Oculus is going to have at least a little snippet about what's to come in Season 4 and how you guys at home, if you're interested in jumping into the competition here, how you can get involved.
More Space Junkies, more Space Junkies, more Space Junkies.
Yeah.
I'm literally like a Space Junkies fiend now.
You're a Space Junkies junkie.
Yeah, there you go. I've become a junkie for Space Junkies.
Bit of a low-hanging fruit there.
Yeah, that was good. I'll take it. I was trying to not do it, that's why I went for Fiend, but then it made me seem like a bit degenerate, so I maybe don't want to go down that point. I am enjoying it massively, though. I want to see more of this action, and I want to see if someone, like, especially when we get to finals, right, when it goes to see NA versus EU, can anyone match the styles of Mr. Mund and his just absolute crazy ability of these shots? Because if you think the practice he must have been putting into him, like we said, it's not easy to do, right? I want him to teach me. Like, that's not... It's human, but it's not that easy to achieve that many shots after each other. Just his tracing the way he's following them was so key. If we can see some teams match up that and make it competitive against them, my God, that's the ultimate competition. That's what we enjoy. That's what we live for as commentators, to see moments like that. That's what brings you guys at home the hype and brings us all the enjoyment as well.
Same as a lot of other esports out there, this is like players achieving this stuff after, like, for this game you could say hundreds of hours, but for some other games like Onward, thousands of hours potentially in these games where they're able to train their aim. We've got some pretty crazy aimers in Onward now too. I'm trying to remember specifically from last week, we had one player in the qualifiers that was literally just like one-tapping people like out of nowhere. And this is not with like a sniper, this is with an LMG. So he's literally like running up on hills and going bop, and just like one-tapping people in the head with that kind of stuff. So players have gotten pretty crazy in all of our games, and this is much like traditional esports. This is only stuff they can achieve with hundreds or thousands of hours in the game. And in my opinion, it's somewhat more difficult because it's a lot more nuanced, right? Like, it's not an exact science. You know, it's not like, you use an example like Counter-Strike throwing grenades. You just have to like look at the same point every single time.
Okay, go.
Yeah, this is something where like I have to train my arm to aim in this specific way every single time.
And you could be off by like a little centimeter or so, for example.
And that's how you miss.
That's such a big deal when you're throwing it in game. So yeah, there's a lot of points of VR and kind of how it can work out and how different it can be for this. As at least I would say, in terms of what we've seen from the Space Junkies side of things now, is that obviously there are players that are doing very well in terms of how they're aiming and stuff and how they're playing. But I think down on the other levels and the other teams we've seen, there's still so much open room. Like, could have been anyone's game at multiple points. Like, my NEC, there was a moment where you thought they would just not even be here in any way, right? When the Waifu were taking it to them and saying that, like, oh, my NEC is going to win 3-0, and then all of a sudden, no, 2-0, we walk away and we go 2-1, and it actually ends up in Waifu's favour to that very split-second difference of when you want to take the engagement.
So it's made it for some very exciting matches here today, folks, and it's all going to be continuing on here. We do, again, apologize for the little bit of the delay. It's looking like one player is having like some tech issues with his PC or something like that, so I think he or she is working to fix that at this point, and then we'll be good to jump into the matchup as soon as they've returned, which I think they're trying to do right now. No promises, of course, but I'm pretty sure they're trying to jump into it now.
Now, talking about it just and how it works, right? We were just saying about the quest and how it works. Imagine if I'd been able to play. So I can only play at home at the moment. Imagine if we had the quest earlier. Every time we come here at the weekend, we can just sat there.
Yeah.
Play Junkies, annoying everyone in the hotel lobby.
It's gonna get really cool because at Oculus Connect 5 they have like an experimental thing with where they were able to like set up additional sensors in a specific room and then have people playing in the same exact space. So you could just like, you could in theory like convert like a laser tag arena into a Space Junkies arena. Obviously, like Space Junkies would be a bit extreme because people are floating around and stuff. But you know, obviously, if you were able
a jetpack, I'll do it.
Yeah, if you were able to line things up 1-to-1, it opens up some really cool possibilities. Anyway, here we go, folks. What could potentially be the final map if you are just joining us? It has been a few minutes. The Leftovers currently have the lead in the series, 2-0. It's best of 5. One more map will qualify them for our season finals, and so far, it started off great for them. Property, even the Sunblaster, picking up 2 frags right at the start here to knock out Where's My Waifu, put them behind.
Now they grab themselves a bit more chance to grab some health as they wait for Waifu to strike again. A little bit of damage up on Proper D at the moment. There was some health around. This teammate should be able to pass that information over to him. It's how they want to try and push into this engagement. The next scan comes in. They'll be able to get some more information off of that. Proper D is back at full health. Tries to drop out the health while trying to land it in Chrysler. He takes a ton of damage. Green strikes as well. And once again, the Leftovers taking full control, up 3-0. And, well, D-Ra does manage to reply. Gets the headshot in there as well, which could give him a good chance to come into this. It's all down on this next battle on how it goes down. And if his teammate comes up in enough time, they might be able to isolate the final Leftovers player.
Can see D-Ra looking for the lineup now. He knows he's got RJ Green behind that big rock, but RJ Green's not committing to it. He's just going to sit back. There's the push out. The shot connects from D-Ra. Problem is he's got the push coming in from his other teammate right above him. That was the trap, and it worked out well. But is it going to be an instant trade from Chrysler? Yes, it will be. Players from Where's My Waifu jump right back into it. However, the Leftovers still have that +2 advantage.
Green just couldn't engage, though. He was too low on health, but he's going to jump into this one, spraying out, getting the job done. Plenty of armor to work with as well. 5-2 now on the Leftovers. Even if they will drop a couple of players at times, they are not slowing down. Things do not stop for these guys, and he's back on the hunt. More damage being done, and D-Ra, he doesn't have an answer to this. He doesn't have a chance.
Proper D picking up the most recent kill here. Now it's 6-2. Where's My Waifu again? Unfortunately, they do put up a little bit more competition at the beginning of the game this time. They do, same as the previous 2 maps, fall behind in the overall scoreline. Not only that, but on this map, high ground becomes incredibly important, and right now, Leftovers have complete control over that compared to the Waifu roster. We've got RJ Green moving himself forward, some good spam, and he's trying to back up as well to get the biopump shots coming at him. Ends up winning that fight as well at 8-2 now.
Yeah, this is big plays coming out now from the Leftovers. They are feeling confident and they are rocking it. Property gets himself another one. We're now 9-2 and they are holding no punches. They're going all in and they're wanting to solidify this 3-0 victory to push them into grand finals and to make them the next team to qualify. The Leftovers will be the only team left over out of Where's My Waifu and them, as Proper D continues to pick up the kills. He's up at 6 now, but it's an even split with RJ Green up at 5 and Where's My Waifu are lost. They have no clue on how to fight back into this.
Well, 12-2. It just seems like, unfortunately, they've kind of given up at this point. It seems they're not really able to get anything going at a minimum, as they are still trying to take fights. They're ill-advised. Chrysler might be able to get a trade against Proper D, but again, the damage going on to Chrysler leaves a very open opportunity for RJ Green to move in and immediately trade that back. Yes, there's another point on the board for Where's My Waifu, but it doesn't matter when the Leftovers are constantly trading this back out and inching closer and closer to 15, which this will be the first time we potentially see a team get to 15, maybe throughout the entire day. I think we've only had one other map actually end on score so far today. It's been pretty close besides that. Well, the Leftovers do lose one more player here. Property's going to move in. Score number 14. They do Mr. RJ Green as potentially the last man standing for Where's My Waifu.
UK versus UK, Leftovers versus Waifu, and Leftovers take it 3-0. What a fast and furious final map from these teams, and what an impressive way for the Leftovers to make it through to Leicester and go up to the grand finals. But